Just another baked beans one for you. Yeah, I don't know. This is the fourth one on baked beans, and this thing just continues to keep going. When I started doing this, this was like 1,500, and it's, I think in the next couple days or the next 24 hours, maybe it might even go up to 5,000. And the owner did an AMA earlier today, and he talked about strategies and is this sustainable? And the fact is, it really depends on the community. As long as everybody kind of sticks with the 6-to-1 strategy, you know, bake more than you eat, things like that. It is sustainable. I mean, they were talking about, what if somebody takes out 10 grand out of the contract? Well, that's fine if we can get the contract, continue to build, and there's 10 million in the contract. If somebody eats 10 grand, it's not going to kill everything. And also with that, a lot of the users so far of baked beans, they did a lot of research and found that a lot of the users are like US and UK, European based, and they've actually started doing they're gonna start marketing in Asia, the Middle East, things like that. So they haven't even broken into a lot of markets yet. And this thing is not just like, it's not an ROI dApp. There's actually miners behind the scenes that do a lot of, they actually make a little bit behind the scenes. So it's not just solely based on the contract balance. It is a big part of it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this is not, this is still considered very high risk. But there's actually something going on behind the scenes here. This is based off of, it's basically a fork off of the old B&B miner, which is actually still going. It's been going for, I think it's a year and a half now. And those miners, they make like 3% a day on minimum. So when you're, rebaking, you take once a week, you're still not even taking everything that these things are making, which is fantastic. These little miners go out and they mine altcoins and swap it back into BNB, which brings value into the contract. They're also doing it, they've got their token going, and with that, a chunk of that comes into the contract. They've got a wallet that'll be dumping that into the contract at strategic times. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've said on this before about baked beans. There's not many things that I shill, but this is one of them because I love simple things. I love simple ways to invest, and this is just one of those simple things. I mean, yes, I love things like, Drip Network, Elephant Money and stuff like that. But there's a lot of complexity behind it. There's a lot of, moving parts. But this is like, one field and 3 buttons, and you run everything with that. And you can come in here and hit a button a day and build things up, and it's not spread across, various tokenomics and all these different things that are behind the scenes. It's not built on all that. It's actually, as an investor, it's super simple, very basic, but it works, and it's been going since early November. And because it's not like ROI, there's no like early time to be in. Once you get in on this, it starts, you start building rewards, and within 4 or 6 weeks, you'll have your initial reward back, as long as you kind of stick to it and the contract continues to go up. Worst case, maybe 8 weeks. And I'll show you those numbers. I did a video before. In this video, I wanted to show different strategies, and I created a sheet with 3 different strategies, and I just want to show that to you guys. But yeah, this thing just continues to just crank away, and as long as you just keep rebaking every day, and taking like once a week, it's good. Even the owner is like, guys, it's not, hard, fast rule of, it is preferable you do the 6-to-1. Sometimes you need to get something out, that's fine. But it's all about, sticking to that as close as you can. Sometimes you need to get something out of it, and that's fine. I mean, it's here to make money. It's not here to just build up a bunch of beans. Beans mean nothing if you can't take that out and do something with it. But yes, it's very important. 6-to-1 rule is the guideline. You won't make as much if you do like 5-2, 4-3 will make you even less. It's all laid out in their FAQs. You make less the more you eat, and that's just the way it is. You probably won't be taking more from the contract because you're gonna be making less. That's kind of the anti-whale functionality. You can't take out more than you're basically making. So yeah, that's kind of my little spiel on baked beans. I'm, like I said, I don't shill many things on this channel, but this is one that I do because I believe in it. And I think there's a lot of things that can be built based off of this that could be fantastic. But I mean, even if there is something better, I'm still sticking with baked beans as well. I mean, it's just a good, solid investment channel. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not financial advice. I'm not saying you have to jump into this. It's still considered high risk. But the community behind it is really cool. If you jump in on Telegram, the owner and stuff, great guy. I don't know, I've chatted with him, and he is, I think, a lot like me. He's very honest and open, and he doesn't, kind of mince words about things, and he's pretty upfront about things. He did an AMA, and it's basically like, I want the hard questions, which is fantastic. I really don't like when I get in Telegram and I ask a question and they ban me or mute me or whatever, just for asking a question that might be, I'm not spreading FUD. I want to know, and if that question makes them uncomfortable, that's a red flag. But if I find somebody that's like, hey, ask me the hard questions, ask me whatever you want about this contract, about this dApp, and I'll answer to the best of my knowledge, and I will, he's just super open and honest about it, which is great. So yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about strategies. First, let's talk about the 6-to-1 strategy. So I built this out. This looks very familiar from the last one I did, and the last one I did 8%. That's like the very, very best case possible, 8%, but it's probably not very realistic. It is, more 5 to 6%, and I based all these on 6%. But I'm actually I'll save this file out and see if I can leave it in the description, a link to it, so you guys can download it, play with it, do whatever you want with it. But this shows me 12 weeks, and I added a bunch of stuff to it. The tax you can change, the return you can change, that's 6%. How many transactions that you do one every day for 84 days, so that's 84 transactions. I looked at like my last 10 gas fees on baked beans, and it worked out to 0.000292, which is about, I think, 11 or 12 cents in USD each. It tells me how much my gas total is in B&B for the 84 transactions, and it also tells me of my 12-week total, what I've taken out total, and that's an investment of 1 B&B. So that one's probably going to stay static because they're based on a 3%. There's some others out there that you can see here, guys. If I go with something that's based on 6% tax, like we've seen with like Vineyard or some of these other ones, you lose half of B&B, you lose $200, and that's because their tax is a little higher. Well, actually twice as high. I think theirs is actually 8%. Yeah, so I mean, you're losing a lot just by them upping their tax. It's eating your profit because they're taking tax. And obviously this thing is profitable for them. I mean, they're expanding, they're growing, so 3% tax is reasonable. I saw one of the other miners, I think it's the Ruby miner, somebody asked why they're doing 6%, and they said, well, we have more people on board and stuff that are helping behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, that's fine, but I mean, you don't punish people's investments because you hired more people than the guy that was successful with it. I don't know, like, it doesn't justify what you're doing. If this guy can get this thing off the ground and get it going with a 3% tax and start growing with that, then they should be able to as well. Otherwise, I think it's just kind of, when I see those 6 and 8%, based off of something like this that can do it on 3 and be successful, I see it more as of a money grab. They're basically using this thing to, take 6 or 8% of your deposit every time, which is huge. If this thing has almost 2 million USD locked in its value. So that was all deposited. That all came from users. And what is that? 8% of that is like $160,000. So that's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, that's my little tax. Sorry, went off a little tangent on taxes there. Just those taxes, they affect how much you can make. This is not going to be like an ROI dApp or something like that. Yes, people are going to be left out, and it's not going to affect your return on those. But this one directly affects how much you make, because that is taken out of the rewards you're going to be able to get. So just remember that. So this one is basically, sorry, I got into that whole way off there. Anyway, this one is basically just the standard bake 6 days, eat once, bake 6 days, eat once, and this is 12 weeks total. You get your initial back around day 42, and this is based on 6% with that 3% tax. So that's what you will. I mean, you'd get it back earlier, but if you withdraw every 7th day and rebake those 6 days, that's when you get it back. So then by the end of 12 weeks, you would earn 11.9 BNB. That's assuming 6% tax. We could change that. If it goes down to 5, it's probably going to come down pretty drastically. You can see what that did. So yeah, it really depends on that tax. That interest that you're making. So yeah, that's what it would look like every day at 6% for 12 weeks. You'd earn 11.9. Now let's grab this one, guys. This was interesting to work up. I think our math is a little bit wrong on this because, we've got the wrong number coming in, but that's okay. We will update that. That's supposed to be E85, so let's change that. Yeah, there you go. So this is interesting. This is the same 12-week time frame, and this is baking every single day and taking once every 28 days. And as you can see from this, you don't take out your initial until day 57. It's over your initial, obviously, but if you stick to this, by day 84, which is 12 weeks, you're gonna make 7.61. So this is very interesting. A lot of people are like, I'm gonna, just compound every day for the first month, which will increase your the principal that's being compounded off of. That's very, very true. And over time, this will outlast, this will overtake the 6-to-1 strategy, the 28-to-1, but it takes 5 to 6 months to do so. I worked that out. So if you're bullish that this thing's going to keep going, it's going to go 6 months, then 20-to-1 does actually work and work very well. You will eventually make more in the future, but in a short term, like 3-month window, you're going to make more doing 6-to-1 by about, I don't know, 70%, something like that. So that's just something to look at. You have the same, transactions, because instead of withdrawing, you're just going to keep rebaking. So your gas total is going to be the same. It's just you're withdrawing less. And yes, it does keep compounding, but it's not enough to overtake that in that short amount of time. So yeah, that's very interesting to see. So yeah, let's talk about another strategy. So there's a lot, if you understand compound interest, the more that you compound, the more times you compound, the more you're going to make. So if you make 10% a year, and that's only compounded once per year, then it's only you're going to get 10% of your money back in 1 year. If you do that once a month, if you don't understand compound interest, maybe I'll just do a whole video on compound interest, on why that's so important, and why that builds up quicker than just simple interest and compounding less frequently. That's something that a lot of people in investments should know about, is compound interest, because it is like your best friend and the best thing in the world. But we can see here's 6-to-1, and we made 11.9 BNB. The same time frame, if I go into this thing and I compound 4 times a day, so I go in and like every 6 hours or something, I go in there and I compound, and I rebake my beans 4 times a day, but you're recompounding smaller amounts, but it's building faster. So 12-week total is 12.81, and this actually takes into account your gas fee as well. You've got more transactions, obviously, because you're 4 times a day, except for the days that you eat, and then your average gas cost and your gas total for 12 weeks. And you still make, because this is the total at the bottom minus the gas fee, you still make almost 1 BNB. It's like 0.9 BNB more than you do if you just do it once a day. So if you're not doing this thing like 4 times a day, you're leaving some BNB on the table. Obviously, if you compound even more, you'd probably even make more. I don't know. I'd have to work out the math. But I mean, if you compound every minute, you'd probably end up making even way more. But you'd have to sit there at your computer and compound all the time. So yeah, that's kind of the strategy. I mean, this one, this is the interest calculator for, compounding 4 times that day, which gives us that interest. And yeah, it just keeps getting piled in there. So, I usually go into baked beans and just open it up every 3 or 4 hours and just hit baked beans, just rebake and just keep rolling it in and just keep going and going and going. And then the day that you're going to eat, just let it sit for 24 hours, eat your beans, and then after you eat, just start, rebaking again. That seems to be the best strategy I found. I do like the idea of doing the 28 to 1, and you could compound 4 times a day, and you'd probably make even more here. It would be interesting to see. You know, what we could actually take this and apply it over here and see what happens. That's not gonna work. I'd have to fix my references. Yeah, let's fix our reference here. All right, since we have that, we should be able to copy this. Yep, we'll copy this thing all the way down. So yeah, this one actually jumps back up. It jumps up to 8, which you're obviously making more. So this is a 28 day, eat one day, or 27. I should say 27-1. I guess I should fix that. That's what this would look like if you compounded 4 times per day. You make a bit more. So yeah, compounding every day. Yeah, you leave money on the table if you're not doing it several times a day. I've seen people say, well, yeah, but what about the gas fee? That gas fee is tiny compared to about what you would make. I'm sure if you had to do this, 100 times a day, that gas fee would start eating into it. But gas fees are, 11 or 12 cents USD each. So, I mean, if you even do, this one, this gas total for a whole month is like 3 USD. You're making that basically in a part of your first withdrawal. Anyway, guys, that's just some of the strategies you can think about. It's really dependent on your viewpoint of baked beans. I'm not going to say, this thing's going to last forever, but I'm not going to say it's going to die next month, because I don't think it is. Obviously, if you're in it and you think it's going to last a year, then 28 to 1 is going to make you way more in the long term. If you think it's going to last 90 days, a 6 to 1 is going to make you more. The break even, where they're about even, is about 5 months. And I will link this sheet. You guys can play with it and do whatever you want with it. Anyway, that's baked beans. I'll leave a link below. If you're not in baked beans yet, have a good look at it. I'm not saying you should do it. It is a great community. It is still high risk, so be aware of that. But just something you should look at if you're not into it. I will leave a link below. It is a referral link. That's the only way I make money off this channel. I no longer take funds from creators of dApps. I'm not beholden to any of those, the dApp creators or any other creator out there. Anyway, I was going to share, when I do eat, I've decided I'm probably going to start sticking what I do eat into Elephant Money, mainly because, I can stick that, rewards that I make off of this and stick it over into, I'm not big into taking rewards that I make off of something and then locking them up forever into something else. So I'll probably stake them into, use Trunk and stake those. So it's almost like staking a stable coin. And I'll leave a link to that project right here, one that I did yesterday on that. So that's an option. That's just something I'll probably be doing, is taking whatever rewards I get from baked beans and rolling them over into there. And then, if you don't do anything with that, if you don't even compound that even, you'll make 70% a year on that. But even that you can compound. Anyway, guys, again, thanks for watching the videos. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Baked beans is kind of my favorite right now. You know, there's a lot to be learned off of this dApp. It's something that I feel like it could go long term as long as the community keeps working it, and also if they break into new markets like they say they are, I think it could go for a very long time. Anyway, guys, yeah, tell me what you think. Leave any comments below. Like the video if you like it. Hit the bell. There are a few more ROI dApps coming out soon. I'll be creating some short videos on them. I'm not going to go into huge detail on these things anymore because you guys know how they work. And I'll probably just be creating a generic ROI primer for any newbies, just so they can get up to speed quickly, and then we can just link that video to those other ones, just so you guys don't sit there and watch me talk about this stuff over and over and over again. But yeah, I mean, there's so many of those ROI dApps that are just flooding out now, and a lot of them are just they just dump out there and they get a few thousand Matic, or here and there, and they just don't have a lot of traction, or they're just they're total just, I don't want to say scams, but they're just money grabs. Yeah, and I just don't want to flood my channel with that kind of stuff. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for those things that are coming up. And yeah, again, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll catch you on the next one.